Hello, folks. So, let us speak about the second in the pair of eclipses that is coming up. And this one is on April the 8th in Pisces, in the nakshatra of Revati. Again, at this eclipse, as we did with the March eclipse, we have Mercury in Gandant. This time, it's in the beginning degree of Aries rather than the ending degree of Pisces, as we experienced in March. And this time, it's retrograde on its way back to Pisces. However, instead of Mercury aspecting the eclipse, we have an exalted Venus conjunct the eclipse in Pisces. With this eclipse, we're trying to form new beginnings, as Mercury and Jupiter are both in Aries. Mercury, the controlling planet of Revati, Jupiter, the ruling planet of Pisces. But Mercury is retrograde, right? So although we know what we want to do finally, we know what we want, we'll need to retreat, we'll need to go back and make some revisions first. Yeah? So let's talk about April's solar eclipse. All right, so before getting started, I actually made this announcement in my previous video as well. It's just a brief announcement. I've created 2 courses. They can both be purchased online on my website. One is for those with no previous knowledge of Vedic astrology, so it's a very basics fundamental course, and it covers all the basic topics like nakshatras, signs, planets, houses, divisional charts. The second course is an introduction to Gemini astrology, and it covers things like Jarakarkas, sign aspects, special lagnas like Arudha Lagna, Upapada Lagna, and then of course Jaradasha. I also talk about predicting events with various example charts, and I also talk about Gemini Raj yogas. So have a look at that if you're interested. Yeah. Back to the eclipse. This solar eclipse takes place in Pisces on April 8th at approximately 7 p.m. UTC in the nakshatra of Revati at 25 degrees. Rahu will cause this eclipse only 4 degrees away, also in Revati. So it's a potent eclipse. Most important is Venus's presence in its exaltation sign of Pisces. So for Taurus and Libra, it's an important eclipse. Some change is inevitable at this time. There can be, however, some deception in relationships. And that's always the case when Venus and Rahu come together. If it feels too good to be true, it probably is, because Venus is sitting close to Rahu and Neptune, in fact. Those in strong relationships can, on the other hand, experience pleasant surprises. For instance, there could be a marriage proposal. So if you're feeling good about your relationship, this transit will actually make you go deeper into it and feel even better about it. And you could, of course, like the relationship could escalate in a pleasant way. Yeah. Mars conjunct Saturn suggests a little bit of struggle, a feeling of being stuck. Some unexpected obstacle can pop up also. This can be felt in Aquarius. So see what Aquarius is for you. But I don't think it's going to I don't think it's going to be related to relationship. as Venus has moved on. There will be indecision in the area that Aquarius represents for you. There will be some indecision there. There could be a stalemate. You could feel like a stalemate. And on the other end of the spectrum, it could lead to an impulsive decision that's not well thought out. So I would say don't make, as usual, don't make irreversible decisions around eclipse times. You can take action, because sometimes we're pressed to take action. And in fact, a lot of times we are, but perhaps a decision that you made before that is related to, the action is related to a decision that you'd made before that. Property issues could certainly feature now. And you can see a breakthrough here. With all the new moon cycles, the moon is the darkest. It's just turning from waning to waxing. So Amavasya is thus considered to be a good time for reflection, introspection, going inward. Going inward is very important if you understand what's happening with the astronomical dynamics at this time. I've actually spoken about this in, I think last year I covered this, but I'm going to cover it very briefly again. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, obscuring the Earth's view of the sun. So we're essentially deprived of light because the sun is being blocked. And the moon is closest to the plane of the Earth's orbit, casting a shadow over Earth. Right? So from our perspective, the moon is completely dark at this time. So when we're going inward, we're essentially disconnecting ourselves from the external world, right? And this detachment is necessary because we're not getting the light from the luminaries in the external world as we normally would. And because of this, it causes confusion. Now, we often say refrain from making decisions. New information may present itself around the days surrounding the eclipse. Many times this is not possible, right? Because we need to take action, and that action that we need to take always just seems to come up at these moments. So we can just surrender, I suppose. This is actually doubly true if you're experiencing the nodal dasha periods. You will notice, and you would have noticed if you have been experiencing either Rahu or Ketu, that there is that pattern that keeps repeating. Whereas there's a sense of, I didn't see this coming. I have to surrender. Or I have no control over the situation or this person, so I have to surrender. So this is what it is with the eclipses. So let's go back to talking about the April's solar eclipse. If we want to understand what to expect here, we need to see the strength and position of Mercury and Jupiter. Right? Jupiter is in strength at this time, and the position of Mercury. Jupiter is in strength at this time, and in fact quite powerful. So you will make the right decision now, or rather, the decision will be made for you, and ultimately it will benefit you. But on a deeper level, you'll experience confusion, indecision, an eagerness for change, eagerness for a new start, but at the same time feeling blocked, stuck, unsure of yourself. This is actually a theme with both of these eclipses. Doubting yourself, feeling unsure about yourself with Mercury's position. Right? Mercury's in a compromised place in both, like Gandant. And here it's in Aries, a sign of its enemy. It's also retrograde. Normally, Jupiter's aspect modifies the situation for the better. But Jupiter close by isn't necessarily helpful. However, having faith in our decision-making, taking advice before acting, would be highly beneficial at this time. New beginnings are featured at this time. There could be an element of returning to the past in order to instigate that new beginning. So something you haven't completed properly, you may have to return and do that first. See Jupiter's lordship in your chart to see what areas of your life are getting impacted at this time, and of course see where Virgo and Pisces are falling in your chart to get a clue. Open communication can be your biggest strength at this time. And I would say take to exercise and keep moving to get rid of the blocked energies created by the Mars-Saturn conjunction, created by the Mercury retrograde in Gandant. With Rahu and Venus conjunction in Pisces, there will be idealizing. You will be idealizing in love and relationships at this time. Maybe fantasizing, which is not a bad thing, right? Sometimes that can get us through some rough patches in life. You could also be thinking about making a long-term commitment if you have someone in your life. But you may experience some indecision, some blocks. Expenses could be high at this time. Either you're paying for a big item, or you could be traveling long distance also. Mercury in Gandant will intensify the karmic connections that you will make at this time, the people that you will encounter at this time. But with the retrograde Mercury, you may not be seeing all the truth. You may not be seeing all the facts. So it's best to wait a month to make any final decision as new information can surface then. Yeah. Which would be after May the 10th. Of course, this eclipse directly impacts Pisces and Virgo, but also those who have personal planets close to the eclipse degree. Eclipse falls into the third pada of Revati, which is the Aquarius Navamsha. Good time for helping others, showing some compassion in a difficult situation. Good time for any kind of like humanitarian work. We're not getting any rewards, any recognition in return. That kind of work. Revati has the capacity to see the big picture. Ushan is the ruling deity and provides nourishment and protection. Ushan is the divine guide and can help us to find the right life path, the right solution at this time. Relationships can hold the promise of nourishment and protection as well with that Rahu-Venus conjunction. But there would be some obstacles present given Venus's connection to Saturn, because it's sitting at Uttarabhadra at this time. Revati supports the following activities. Business or financial matters can go well. Music, drama, creative activities, excellent time for that. Charity, as I mentioned, excellent time for that. Even learning about occult, great time for that. Any spiritual practices, healing or treating ailments. You can find the solution now. Just like very suddenly, actually, with that exalted Venus. Activities for leisure and relaxation. And completion, right? After all, this is Pisces. If you've just ended a chapter, you would be planning a new beginning at this time. With Mercury's position in Gandant, in Aries, it's wise not to rush into any conclusions. Just wait it out a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, at this time, you're like, it's going to be difficult to get a grip on like the details, whatever chapter is like you're putting your energy into, and to understand what direction to take until May the 10th, when Mercury returns to Aries in direct, the same spot. That's when you can just like full force ahead, go. But there will be some back and forth at this time, right? Like towards the end of March till mid-April. You would grasp the bigger picture, however, by this eclipse cycle and get an idea of where your life should be headed. But you will have to go back and make some revisions, some changes, and then steer ahead very quickly by beginning of May. Watch for controlling behavior with that Mars and like Saturn Yuti in Aquarius. Fanatical behavior also I mean, like, this can lead to imbalances easily, particularly since we're talking about Virgo and Pisces here, which is an imbalance anyway, right? 612 axis, whenever that gets activated. So see where Pisces falls from Moon, from Lagna. Here you can see changes manifest. I've made remedies videos on each planet, and best remedial measure for eclipses is, and I mention it again because I think it's very important, is to strengthen the moon, keeping a light schedule, drinking lots of water, doing pranayam, spending more time at home. Especially with this eclipse, you're certainly going to get the answers by switching off. By switching off, going into silence, or like some kind of a meditative mode. Anyway, at eclipse times, it's like, you know, as usual, it's difficult. It's difficult to plan things, so you have to surrender. So that's all for now. If you like the video, don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and share. Thank you, folks. All the best to you. Cheers.